So I want to start this video off with an apology. I understand that there are about 7 or 8 of you guys out there that hate these old money videos. Seriously, I see your comments down below and I hear you. But the reality is that this trend is going to be around for a while. That being said, there's a similar trend called quiet luxury, which on the surface seems to be about the same thing. However, it is not. A key characteristic of old money style is it's going to rely heavily on classic, timeless pieces that signify old school wealth that's been in the family for generations. Now, quiet luxury, on the other hand, doesn't seem to imply generational wealth. In fact, in many people's minds, the only reason the trend exists is because of the show Succession and how the words have been trending on TikTok. However, if you define quiet luxury as unique, personalized, and exceptionally refined garments that are oftentimes commissioned in small batches and made bespoke by craftsmen? Well, by that definition, this trend has been going on since the Middle Ages. Seriously, go back to the Renaissance and you'll see oftentimes the difference between those that were higher up in society and those that were lower weren't the colors or the styles, but the materials being used and the detail of the craftsmanship and the build quality. This would result in 2 garments that looked incredibly similar, but were priced different by a multiple of 100. So what exactly is quiet luxury? How is it different from old money? And what are the brands that fit into each of the categories? Guys, I'm going to cover all that in today's video. So when I think of quiet luxury, I define it with 5 key characteristics. First up, quiet luxury is going to be modern and minimalistic. Now, when I say modern, I'm not talking fashion forward, but it is going to be fashionable. So it's going to have clean lines, simple silhouettes, and the aesthetic overall is going to be more contemporary. Quiet luxury is going to fit into the time period, while old money style at times can seem a bit outdated and that it's slowly catching up. That being said, both old money and quiet luxury are going to be using high quality designs. They're going to be using high quality materials. But because quiet luxury is going to be a little bit more cutting edge, you're going to find the prices can be a lot more than old money. The next key characteristic of quiet luxury is discreet branding. It goes with the name. This is quiet. It's not screaming. I mean, seriously, to the untrained eye, they may just see, oh, that's a shirt. Looks like it came from Target, but it actually came from a high-end designer brand out of Italy. And again, cost 100 times more than that shirt from Target. And I know at this point, some of you guys are saying, well, why in the world would anyone pay that much money for something that honestly doesn't matter? It's a great question. And to answer that question, let's go to the field of enclothed cognition. It talks about how when you wear certain items, you feel differently. You perform differently. It's one of those things that the people who know, and they spot it, and it sends a very quiet signal that, hey, this person has very high status, or they've at least got the money to buy that stuff. And I know most of you guys watching would never fall for this because you're too smart, too logical, but most human beings are very emotional, and these small signals and positioning of status has a huge effect. The next thing about quiet luxury is it's versatile, it's functional. When we go back and we look at history of quiet luxury, these were pieces of clothing that needed to be able to perform. They're going to get wet, they need to be able to protect the wearer. This is daily wear. Which again, for a lot of people, when they see the cost of some of this quiet luxury items, they're like, hey, isn't that like dress clothing? The amount that you spent on those sneakers, I would usually spend for a high-end pair of dress shoes. Well, again, being able to wear this day to day, it is a status symbol. It's a message that people are putting out there of who they are and what they've got. Next up with quiet luxury, let's talk about technological innovation. And even going back centuries, we would see that these very simple items were using sometimes cutting edge fabrics, materials. But more often we'll see technology. We'll see things woven into the clothing that all of a sudden gives it unique properties. It makes it something that's functional for the wearer. Next up, let's talk about sustainability and ethical manufacturing. 200 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, this wouldn't have been on the list. This is something that's trending, and now it's very important for a lot of these higher end companies to be able to show that they are ethical, where everything's being manufactured, that they're not using, certain types of labor, that they're not testing on animals. Does it really make a difference? I think that's debatable, but it is something that is trending and is important right now. So what about with old money? What are the characteristics? First up, let's talk about heritage. As mentioned earlier, it's about tradition. It's about, okay, your dad went to this tailor, your grandfather wore this type of clothing, it's about looking good. It's about understanding, especially in men's style, that things don't change that quickly. And that's great because you can spend a good amount of money on your wardrobe and you can rest assured that it's going to look good. It's not going to go out of style. Old money style is often about fitting in and looking the part. Now, right with that, we've got conservative choices. Now, conservative choices are just going to be safe choices. So we're going to avoid the whimsical winds of fashion when you're dressing old money. You're going to wear items that have, as I talked about the Lindy effect. If it's been around for 100 years and people are still wearing it, guess what? This is going to be an item then that's probably in the old money wardrobe. So you're going to see classic light colored dress shirts. You're going to see sports jackets. You're going to see blazers. You're going to see a variety of loafers and dress shoes. And then that takes us to subdued elegance. This is going to be about the color choices, the fabric choices, the combinations of such. In an old money wardrobe, the colors are going to be muted. In fact, the colors navy, gray, beige, black, white, and blue for shirts, along with earth tones, are going to dominate the majority of the wardrobe. Gents, if you want to step up your style efficiently and effectively, look for a proven path. A curriculum that saves you from confusion, from bad information, from crappy teachers. You want to make sure that you're not just learning facts, but you actually are being shown concepts. Lessons that give you foundations. They give you the fundamentals to be able to dress sharp in any situation. It's also great if you can surround yourself with like-minded men, because how many times have you tried to learn something and there are other people that don't want to be there, they're distracting you, or worse, they're tempting you to go do something else. Which is why, gents, I wanted to show you this. My new free group for you that not only has instruction, but an amazing community that is distraction free. It's got a great app. And did I say it's free? Guys, I developed this for you. Finally, I found a platform that makes this so simple, so easy, and so effective for you to be able to step up your style. Seriously, gents, I've got courses in this community that I used to sell. You can get for free. I've set up prizes. I've gamified it. Guys, I'm going to link to it down in the description. Or if you just want to go over to the URL, it's at school.com/RMRS. This group is free, although you do have to answer 3 questions. I don't ask for your email address. I simply want to make sure that we keep spammers out of the group. It's a high quality group. It's an amazing community that I am proud to give to you guys. Now, a trend may eventually make its way in after 50, 60 years. Seriously, it's just something, old money style, like these guys are just starting to wear jeans after 80 to 90 years. But it makes sense because it's all about quality over trends. Why? Because they want to be able to invest in things that last. They want to be able to have a uniform that simply works. They don't want to fall into a trap. In fact, you can view it like, hey, they're letting the masses test out all these new trends, all these different types of clothing. And if it doesn't mess them up, then they'll eventually add it to theirs. And last but not least, let's talk about understated elegance. This is perhaps one of my favorite parts about the old money wardrobe. Understated elegance is when you choose something that's been made very well and you take care of it and you use it for years. And I think you can see this in shoes, you can see this in luggage and bags. If you've got a Rolex or, that's been passed down through 3 to 4 generations, a watch like that with stories, heritage, tradition would be sought after and well accepted, and in fact would be looked as something better than going out and buying a modern Rolex. All right, Jen, so now let's talk about brands. Old money versus quiet luxury. And some of you guys may disagree with the way I classify some of these brands. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. But let's see how many of these you can guess, you can get right. If you get all of them right, let me know, reach out to me, or let me know in the comments and brag about it. First up is Miyake. Has anyone ever heard of this brand? Are you familiar with it? If you know Japanese style, you've heard of it. If you know fragrances, you've heard of this brand. I am going to put this brand in quiet luxury. Here's why. For me, Miyake is about lines. It's about clean silhouettes. It's also not afraid to put a bit of technology into its products, its clothing, and for that reason, I view this as quiet luxury, and their prices can be very high. Next up, we've got Tom Ford. Where are you going to put this one? I think a lot of you guys know quiet luxury. And Tom Ford, again, you look at the name of some of his fragrances. If you look at some of the designs, you may not feel that super quiet, but overall, he uses really good quality ingredients, quality fabrics. His designs, I think, they just ooze sexuality. They're definitely modern, but they're clean and classic. I got to put Tom Ford in quiet luxury. Next up, we got Brooks Brothers. All right, that one was easy, right? Come on. This is going to be definitely Old School Americana. This is America's classic tailoring company. They're the ones that pushed the sack suit and they preppy clothing. Tons of people used to go for this, especially over on the East Coast. This is definitely old money style. Next up, we've got Gucci. Now, this one is tough. I mean, if you know Gucci, they've got modern, fashionable pieces that are anything but quiet. On the other hand, are they timeless? I think that they definitely have a lot of timeless lines. They've got some classic pieces. If you're Italian and, there are just certain things like the tassel bit loafer right there. I got to put it, I'm going to go with Old School Money. Yeah, disagree? Let me know in the comments. But because of just certain pieces that they pioneered, I got to go Old Money. Next up, we got Brunello Cucinelli. Anyone familiar with this brand? I'll bring up a few images right here. Definitely, they're going to be cutting edge, very clean lines. But if you look at their prices for what you're getting, it's almost sticker shock for a lot of people. This is definitely going to be a quiet luxury brand. Now, what about the common projects? A lot of you guys know their sneakers. Very minimalist, very simple. What do you think? Is this going to be old money? No, it's not old money. This is going to be quiet luxury right there. Let's bring up another American company. We've got Allen Edmonds. So I personally love shopping at Allen Edmonds. Whenever I'm in an airport, they usually have some pretty good airport shops. And they've got started off, I think, shoes were their primary thing, but they've moved to a variety of different products out there. But what do you guys think? Allen Edmonds, where are we going to put them? Wisconsin brand. They're going to be old money and great shoes. If you've never checked out Allen Edmonds, they've been around forever. And speaking of shoes, let's talk about Chini. Have any of you guys heard of this company? I remember I was over in London, picked up a pair, really liked them. I could also bring in Churches. Both of these companies, where were they going to fit? Okay, you're right. Old money, both of these brands. And if you feel those brands are cheap, you want to go higher upstream, definitely check out Crockett and Jones. I don't think Chini or Churches are cheap brands, but if you really want to spend the money, Crockett and Jones, and they are going to be old money, in my opinion. Let's get some casual clothing in here. Rag and Bone. Well, if you're selling casual clothing, but even, James Bond wears some of this stuff here, definitely not old money. Come on, this one was easy. So quiet luxury right here, Rag and Bone. Now, this next one is going to be a surprise for some of you guys, Arc'teryx. I like their clothing, but let's just say, especially the Arc'teryx, everyone ever shopped in one of those stores? This stuff is not cheap. You can get, I think, very functional clothing. It's a fraction of the cost here, but these right here, in my opinion, are definitely quiet luxury. Casual. Next up, Belstaff. This is a great British store. If you've never been in there, if you're walking through, and that probably gave it away. It seems like most British stores are going to be old money. So yes, Belstaff. And I know I could have put Barber right here, but that one would have been way too easy, right, guys? Come on. Barber, definitely old money. All right, gents, what brands did I miss? I know you Australians are like, what about R.M. Williams? You always ask about that, but guys, check out this video right here. I got you covered. Let me know in the comments, though, if I missed anything. But to continue your viewing experience, click on the video. Boom, right here. Yeah, you won't be sad. It's a good video. Boom.